Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigil here, and welcome back to another video. So in a lot of videos that I do, especially lately when I talk a bit about Blue Beetle, I kind of mentioned that uh, characters like Blue Beetle, like Manta, like Mr. Freeze for the free-to-play side of things at the very least, are characters that are going to be very high investment. Like, they are good, but they're not good enough to be really worth investing in early, because you're going to need the high star rating for them, you're going to need all the gears, you're going to need them maxed out, you might need some special teammates for them. So it's gonna be a long way and a ton of resources that you're gonna spend in order to get those characters. That's why I don't like them, to get them to peak performance. There's gonna be a lot of resource expenditure. And with the resources that you are going to put into a Manta to get him to a point where he's actually decent, you could get so many more characters, and that's what I'm gonna talk about today. Characters that are going to be extremely strong at as little investment as possible. They're going to be as independent as possible. Basically, what we're aiming for here is to get characters, and as soon as we get them, put them to work. Not have to worry about getting gears for them, not have to worry about getting specific teammates for them. You get them, you put them to work at the low star rating with no gears, and they're gonna do wonders for you. And yeah, with that, we're gonna start with a few honorable mentions, because there's some characters in Injustice Mobile, mainly Girl of Steel Supergirl here, and Classic Wonder Woman, that are gonna be very good characters to keep an eye out. Where's Classic Wonder Woman? I don't know, irrelevant anyway. The thing is, her and Classic Wonder Woman are currently kind of the strongest support characters, if we don't get into Zatanna and Raven, of course. And they're going to be able to be placed in a lot of teams. They're going to be very, very versatile. But they're only an honorable mention for this team because they're going to require you to have an already strong team. Like, unlike Raven, because we're going to talk a bit about Raven a bit later on in this tier list, but unlike Raven, they are not going to buff absolutely any character to absurd amounts. Their type of buffs are going to synergize better with some specific characters. For example, Garcia Supergirl works well with any Beta Club character. Same for Classic Wonder Woman. They work well with League of Hierarchy. They work well with Batman the Drowns. But you might not have those characters, and it's most likely gonna buff your garbage Predator Batman that you built because you have no other option for soul raids. But it's not gonna be good enough to be worth the spot on this list, but they're worth the mention. Also on the spot of honorable mentions, because this is something that doesn't really vibe with the tier list, but I just can't stress enough how much value you're going to get out of Entangling Poison Ivy. Because Entangling Poison Ivy is going to be not that easy to get, which is going to be the case for some characters in this tier list. It's not going to be that easy to get. You're going to be dependent on the star rating that she gets to get this to a higher level, so she deals more damage with it. You're going to kind of need gears for her. You might need another teammate for her, like a Harley or Joker. So it is a bit more complicated in that regard. She's really not a zero investment character, but at the same time, she is a very high, let's say, I can't find the word, outcome character. Like, you're gonna really get your money's worth if you try and get an EPI, maybe build her, pair her up with a Raven. Like, she's gonna have a lot of prerequisite conditions to get to that point to be able to make it kind of in the top 5 of this list, because of the conditions I place myself on it. But I just can't stress enough how important it is to get your League of Anarchy off the ground. And yeah, with the honorable mentions done, we're gonna move into the actual characters, and we're gonna start with 2 controversial picks, actually, because you guys don't like legendary characters, and they're a bit harder to get than gold characters because you're not gonna have a chest with an 8% chance for them, unless we're talking about Grodd, I guess. But it matters not, because look, you're gonna have a better time getting legendary characters if you save up some gems for a specific legendary character and try to get that, other than just dropping your 500 gems from the arena season as soon as you get them and hoping for whatever you're gonna get from whatever chest is in the store. Just saying. But Raven, you're gonna get her at 3 stars, right? You're gonna have absolutely no gears for her, and she's gonna be insanely strong, because we talked about characters that buff stuff like Classic Wonder Woman, Girl of Steel, Supergirl, But Raven is on a whole nother level with this. She can buff the crap out of any character in the game, and she's gonna be a worthwhile investment for a very, very long time. She's all the way to the bottom of this because, yet again, legendary character type of deal, she's a bit harder to get, and she doesn't really fulfill the rule properly of being an independent character because she's gonna depend on buffing somebody. The good thing about her is that she can buff anybody, so Raven is gonna be at the number 5 over here. Next up, another controversial pick, which is actually the strongest character in the game at 0 investments. As soon as you get this man out of the chest, the only thing you need to do is to increase his level a bit, and then increase the level of his specialty a bit. Let me actually check if I can do this a couple more times, because this is actually pretty good. You're gonna have to do less specialties, but it is by no means a must-have. So let me explain how he works. Right, you're gonna get him at 3 stars, no gears. That's good because you don't need gears. This man actually benefits from dying, because the way you play him is you're gonna go ahead and equip a North Snow Globe on him. Doesn't matter that mine is level 8. Don't mind that, you don't need a level 8 one, you just need a level 1 one, and it's gonna be a free artifact that you're gonna get for finishing normal difficulty of the On Ice Soul Raids. You're gonna get all this man's special too. Done. With base Deathstroke, you're gonna get him killed, and then the clones also have access to the percentage hull damage from here. There's absolutely nothing in his kit that synergizes or needs you to have gears on him. I'm still running him without gears on the secondary account, and most likely I'm never gonna go out of my way to get gears, because he doesn't need them. As soon as you get him out of the chest at 3 stars, no gears, no needed teammates, you could literally just go in with Deathstroke alone. If you play it properly, this man can deal 1.4 billion damage to a 2 billion health fight with a level 1 North Snow Globe, no gears, 3 stars. That's how strong Deathstroke is at 0 investment. There's absolutely no character in the game that can do that at 3 stars, no gears, and with no specific characters that they need to be paired up with. So that's why I think Deathstroke definitely deserves a place on this list, because you're gonna get so much value out of him. Next up, we're gonna talk about Dr. Fate and Power Girl, and you're gonna eventually get those characters. Dr. Fate, there's some people who get unlucky and don't get him for a long time, but he's gonna eventually drop from whatever chest you're opening, because he's a silver drop. You're eventually gonna get him, though don't worry too much if you're not getting him early. But both him and Power Girl kind of share a passive. Dr. Fate is slightly stronger than Power Girl because he reduces the defense by 10% of the enemy team, but that's gonna be very, very rarely a factor that you're going to take into account. But the second part of the passive is what they share. -2 power bars for special abilities. There's almost no characters in the game, almost no teams in the game that don't benefit from this. And the thing is, in the early stages of your account, you're going to benefit a lot more from this, because since you're not going to have a lot of the crazy stuff, like let's say you might not have a League of Anarchy build, you might not have a Mr. Freeze plus the Tana team build, and you're gonna end up with a lot of characters that pretty much rely on the classic gameplay formula that was pretty much the gameplay for all the teams a few years ago. Build a high amount of combo, use a special. You know what would be good in that situation? Having cheaper specials. And even when you get to upgrade all your teams, you're still gonna have a Dr. Fate in there, at least, if not a Power Girl too. But I'm still always using my Dr. Fate on the Atlantis Aquaman team. Pretty much no matter how I use him with Beta Club, Dr. Fate's in there. I use him with North Snow Globe, Dr. Fate's in there. I use him with Twin Blade, Dr. Fate's in there. And it's a character that you're gonna get so early on, and he doesn't discriminate, he doesn't care whatever you have in your team. He's gonna definitely help them out a lot. And 2 power bar reduction is absolutely huge, and it's gonna add up to crazy amounts during the fight. And yeah, pretty much the same things can be said for Power Girl, so no reason to go over the same things yet again. Coming in at number 2, we're gonna have Batman the Drowned. And we're gonna have King at number 1, so I'm gonna quickly go over why I put King at number 1 and not Batman the Drowned at number 1, because I feel like, I mean, if we're gonna straight up compare the characters between each other, Batman the Drowned is stronger. She's the strongest character in the game, a lot stronger than King. King is amazingly strong himself, but Batman Drowned's on another level. The reason why she is below King is that this thing specifically, though I guess it's the same for Deathstroke and Raven, depends a lot on what you have available for yourself at that point. She's gonna have a challenge, so it's easy to get her. She's gonna have a chest that has an 8% chance to drop her for 250 gems, so that's also pretty easy to get. But unlike King, those chests and those challenges might not be available at any time in the game, so you might not always have the possibility of getting her if you so desire. And at the same time, she does need a few gears if you want to get the maximum amount, though the same kind of goes for King. And you can get a lot out of a budget Batman drone. Like, I remember running a 3 stars, 1 gear Batman the round on my secondary account and getting amazingly high damage out of it. As soon as I got her, she was in my top 3 teams. Just at 3 stars, 1 gear. And you're gonna get a lot more out of her as you further upgrade her. The resources that you invest for getting her and upgrading her are definitely gonna be worth it. It's simply a matter of she might not be available whenever you want to get her. That's why she is, in this list specifically, below King. The number 1, the main reason why you need to join a league as soon as you make an adjust to mobile account can fly Aquaman. It does percentage shell damage on the 3rd special and exactly the same logic as Deathstroke. You're gonna get the North Snow Globe on him, and the clones are also going to do the percentage shell damage. He's a bit more inconvenient to play with North Snow Globe than Deathstroke, and he's a bit worse against fights that have damage caps. But he's also going to scale a lot better later within Deathstroke because he's also gonna be able to use Twin Blade with Raven or Beta Club if you have that, and deal easy 2 billion damage for you. He's gonna be a long-term investment character, same as Batman Drowned, but he's gonna be there. He's most likely the first damage tier you're ever gonna get and properly built. This is most likely gonna be your first character build, and he is amazing at 0 investment, pretty much the same level of Deathstroke, but a ton easier to get, and he is going to easily scale into the late game. So yeah, this is the example of characters you should look at when I'm talking about low investment, high reward characters. Some good examples are going to be Zatanna. Like, also in the realm of honorable mentions with her percentage shell damage on the burn, and also her damage buff that she's gonna get, though yet again that's kind of dependent on having a character to actually buff. Black Adam is going to be very strong at no investment because you get this man without gears, and he's going to deal the fastest percentage shell damage that this game has ever seen. Not the biggest, but he's going to deal it the fastest. So you're going to get a lot of value out of that, just putting him in any team. And yeah, that's what I mean when I'm talking about no investment characters. In the same regard, we can take a look at my boy over here, Manta. Manta is going to need to be kind of at least 4 stars so his passive functions properly, and you can actually tag in and out if you need to, like a human being, and your passive doesn't expire. I mean, it doesn't really expire at 3 stars either, but you're gonna have to be very, very careful with that. It's gonna need the passive to deal a decent amount of damage. At higher star rating, he's gonna need all the gears, and at that point he still deals less damage than Batman the Drowns. That's kind of how you should value characters in Just Mobile, in my opinion, when building your account. How much am I gonna get for how much I'm gonna spend to get this character to the point where he's 90% efficient? If, for example, a 3-star Deathstroke is gonna be 95% efficient, like what you're gonna get out of a higher star rating out of a Deathstroke is better power generation on crits. That's everything, and that's helpful, I guess. That's pretty decent. I wouldn't mind having it, of course, but you don't need to. And with our characters, you're gonna spend a ton of resources only to find out that they're kind of worse than the character you could have gotten going for a tenth of the investment you put into that character. With all that being said, that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!